Hello everybody. Today I've decided to make a video on TrueNAS. As you can tell, I enjoy using GNS3 and I will continue using GNS3 for the projects where it seems relevant. In one of our previous videos, we set up Proxmox on this host, this GNS3 host called VH01, which for me is shorthand for virtual host. So I'm going to drag a QEMU host. Let's do this empty host over here. Stick it onto the canvas to rename it. On convenience sake, I will do a bit of configuration. I've got two gigs of RAM. I'll add a second CPU to it, and I will select Spice as my virtualization, or rather my remote control. I'm going to create a hard drive for this one. In fact, I'll do two drives, one where the operating system will be sitting on and one where the storage for the data will be on. So those will just be default. You can call this TrueNAS 1. I'm going to make this just 6 gigs. So I don't want to make it very big. I think that should do. Let's make it 10. And the second drive, I'm going to make 10 as well. Since this is just a demo. But the aim of this is to show how TrueNAS gets installed and how we end up using it. So we'll select. I've already downloaded the ISO image for TrueNAS, but I can see if I can show you where to find it. Let's just open the browser. See, okay, drag across over here. Go TrueNAS, Control A, TrueNAS. Search for that. Internet should be operational. Oh, it's not having a fun time over here. Search. Okay. Okay, here we go. We are looking for TrueNAS scale. There we go. See, download this from. As I can find the download page for it. To log in. Hope not. I've logged in before. Like I may have to. See. Downloaded this a little while ago. Yeah. Community edition. These are the two editions that you can find. Just try one more spot over here. Thanks. There we go. Label. There we go. Will download it for us. Yes, that's the latest one. This one's going to take a little while to download. I already have a copy of it running that I've downloaded before. I'll just continue using that. So, well, okay. So I'm going to browse to that folder where I have my TrueNAS scale. Go. It should ask me if I want to copy it. The answer to that is no. And now I'm going to, okay, I will connect my TrueNAS to my network so that I can get a IP address from my NAT, who's acting as a DHCP as well, and it will grant me access to the internet. So let's start this up and let's see. Okay. Opening a console, we can see, and this is a very straightforward installation. And then I'll show you what else can be done once it's done. Install, yeah. Selecting the drive it's supposed to install to. See the installation. Configure that and the password. I'll set the password here. Maybe too short. No, it's fine. Okay. Formatting that drive. That's the one I selected. Is the boot drive for this particular machine. Once this extraction is complete and the installation is complete, it will ask me to reboot the machine. In that time, we will remove the ISO file and then we'll start the machine up. We'll get an IP address that we can use, and from there we'll be able to access it via the web browser. So let's give this a few more seconds, maybe a minute. I'll pause the video in the meantime and then we'll get back once the extraction is complete. Okay, as you can tell, it's completed now. Yeah, right. And we can now do a shutdown of the system, turn it off. So now I'm going to go to configure on my machine on this GNS3, remove the image from there, click OK. Alternative would be to change the boot order. So you can see the boot priority. Yeah, I could have just switched it to hard drive or CD-ROM, as hard drive being the primary one. Okay, it doesn't really matter. So, okay, start it up. Let's look at the console. And there we go. All right. So, it's booting up. We will get an IP address in the next few seconds. And then we will open a browser window. Same window we used to download the TrueNAS file. Yes, it's busy with. Okay. This claims to be taking a little longer than expected, but okay. So I'll be discussing more of the features of TrueNAS. This is just the installation. I'll do more of the features in the future. What I would like to do is make sure that you can see the web interface once TrueNAS is installed. So once TrueNAS is up and running, there's an opportunity to set to use the CLI or the command line interface, or you can access the web interface. As you can tell, there are two IP addresses over here. The one is saying 192.168.122.131. That is HTTP or HTTPS. So let's take a look at that. Yeah. So HTTP 192.168.122. Don't recall that is 131. 131. Let's just put HTTP in front of that. And there we go. Now the admin password for this is TrueNAS_admin. Typing there. TrueNAS_admin. Password is the simple password I said earlier. There we go. That is a simple installation of TrueNAS. Now, what I would like to show is that the storage, we'll do one little thing for the storage. We'll create a pool. We'll just call it pool 1. Well, let's just do this. Let's call it VMS, because that's where the VMs are going to reside for the next system. We'll create Stripe for now because we don't have a rated environment. And we'll select, oh, I did not find that particular one. So the next drive that I've got to set up doesn't seem to be available at the moment. SDA, which is the current, which is the boot So for whatever reason, the other drive does not list. After some investigation, it turns out that the reason the second drive doesn't show is because you click on this particular, you right click on the machine, you click on configuration for TrueNAS, and I select the drive. I neglected to say which disk interface it should be using. However, this is not going to work if I'm in if the machine is running. So I have to shut the machine down first. So let's go to the TrueNAS web interface. If I go to, I'm going to exit here, then the menu should show, and I can click on type 9, and it'll shut the machine down, right? This will be the graceful way to turn things off, turn off TrueNAS. Once it's off, this screen will disappear. Let's click, right click and configure, then go to hard drive and then select SATA. So now that is on, let's click on start again. So the same IP address should come up. So in the next few seconds, I should be able to access the TrueNAS again. Once the booting process is completed. Just take a few seconds. But as you guys can tell, the installation process of TrueNAS is actually very, very simple. And one of the recommendation is to have it on a static IP address on physical hardware with enough disk space. But because this is just a demonstration, I can happily spin up this TrueNAS and then add disks or to this machine and then make them accessible via the interface. There we go. We are logged in or via the web interface. Back into here. TrueNAS underscore admin. Password is simple password. I recorded earlier, and now it is. It's because it's a demo. I'll just save it, and here you can tell I've got my other drive, which is also 10 gigs. So I'm going to go to storage and create pool. Yeah, I'll just call it VMS. Click next. I'm going to just, because I don't have multiple drives available, I'm just using one. I'm going to use Stripe. If you're going to be using multiple drives, then you can use RAID or Mirror, depending on what you, how many drives you have. There's limits or configuration settings for each type. Stripe is the one we're selecting. This, I'm selecting the physical drive, and there's a 1-to-1, which is the width, the number of, and we'll just click on next. All these other settings are optional, so I'm just going to skip through them. Right, next, skip through all the optional things. Create pool. Boom. There we go. In the next few seconds, we will be able to see the pool, and then we'll be able to create shares with that pool. Here we will go. And for example, you can create a Samba share, which is a Windows share, or a Unix share. Now, I'm going to create a Unix share because I would like to add it to my drive. Just call this to my Proxmox. And the path for this, call it my test. Let's call it VMS as well. Fine. I think I might MNT for so yeah. Okay, there we go. I've selected it and now I can save it and I can confirm it will be. Let's do it. That enable the service at startup. We'll make sure that when the system reboots, the share is always available. And there we'll have our first share. Next time around, we will be discussing the apps that's available under in TrueNAS. And there's a large number of apps that you can use for a variety of functions within your home lab. Well, thank you very much, everybody.